Every drug feels different, but they all change your brain. From caffeine to the most dangerous substances. Here's what really happens inside you. Caffeine. Caffeine is a stimulant, a chemical that speeds up your brain and nervous system. It's found in coffee, tea, soda, and energy drinks, fueling billions of people every morning. For many, it's not just a drink, it's a ritual. Once consumed, it blocks adenosine, the chemical that signals tiredness. So it doesn't give you energy, it hides your exhaustion. Your neurons fire faster, your heart beats stronger, and you feel more alert. You feel focused, in control. But as it wears off, the crash begins. Irritability, restlessness, and the need for another cup. Caffeine is mildly addictive, hidden behind routine. It doesn't wake you up, it just delays your tiredness. Nicotine. Nicotine is a fast-acting stimulant found in tobacco and vapes. It's the chemical that hooks people, not the smoke. Within seconds of inhaling, it reaches the brain, releasing dopamine, the chemical of calm and focus. At first, it feels perfect. Clear thoughts, light stimulation, reduced stress. But the effect fades quickly. Calm turns into tension, and the craving begins again. Each puff only relieves the discomfort caused by the last one. That's the trap. Nicotine doesn't relax you. It resets withdrawal. Over time, nicotine changes how your brain releases dopamine, meaning without it, everything feels dull and flat. Physically, it damages your lungs, blood vessels, and heart, but mentally, it's even worse. It convinces you that you can't cope without it. Alcohol. Alcohol is a depressant. It slows down your brain and nervous system. People drink to relax, connect, or escape. Once it enters your bloodstream, it spreads through your body and brain, disrupting how neurons communicate. At first, it brings warmth, relaxation, and confidence. But as levels rise, judgment fades, emotions intensify, and vision begins to blur. Coordination weakens, reaction time slows. You feel in control, but your brain is actually shutting down functions. Then comes the crash. Dehydration, fatigue, and mental fog. Soon, you're not drinking for fun, but just to feel normal. Over time, it damages your liver, weakens your heart, and erodes self-control. Cannabis. Cannabis is a psychoactive drug from the marijuana plant. When smoked or ingested, THC enters the bloodstream and travels to the brain. It interacts with the endocannabinoid system, affecting mood, memory, and perception. When THC enters the bloodstream, it rushes to the brain and binds to receptors that normally handle natural chemicals called anandamides, molecules that help you feel relaxed and balanced. That's when the onset hits. Time slows down, your senses sharpen, and everything feels slightly funnier, warmer, softer. At its peak, cannabis can heighten creativity and calm, or tip into confusion and paranoia, depending on the dose and mindset. Music sounds deeper, colors feel stronger, and ideas seem profound. It's a distortion of normal reality that feels both dreamy and focused at once. As the come down begins, thought slows, speech drifts, and tiredness sets in. For some, it's gentle. For others, it's heavy. Cannabis is mildly addictive, but mostly psychological. Regular use can dull motivation, affect short-term memory, and in heavy doses, trigger anxiety or panic. It's often called harmless, but it quietly reshapes. Cocaine. Cocaine is a powerful stimulant made from coca leaves. It's most commonly snorted as a white powder, but can also be smoked or injected. Once it enters the bloodstream, it rapidly reaches the brain and blocks the reabsorption of dopamine. Suddenly, your brain is flooded with pleasure signals. The onset is almost instant. A rush of energy, confidence, and euphoria. Your heart races, pupils widen, and your mind feels sharp, electric. At its peak, you feel unstoppable, focused, powerful, alive. But the high is short. Within minutes, dopamine levels crash, and the come down hits hard. Anxiety rises, mood drops, and exhaustion takes over. You crave more, not to feel high, but just to feel normal again. Cocaine is highly addictive. Each use rewires your brain's reward system over time. It damages the heart, constricts blood vessels, and rewires brain chemistry so deeply that joy without it feels impossible. MDMA, also known as ecstasy or Molly. It's a synthetic stimulant and hallucinogen, usually taken as a pill or capsule. At parties or clubs, once it enters the bloodstream, it floods the brain with serotonin, dopamine, and oxytocin, the trio responsible for happiness, reward, and connection. As the onset begins, a warm sensation spreads through your body. Music feels richer, lights begin to shimmer, and touch feels electric. You feel deeply connected. To friends, to strangers, to everything around you. Your brain is running on maximum empathy. At the peak, serotonin levels surge, and the world feels perfect. You can dance for hours, talk endlessly, feel almost infinite. But it doesn't last. MDMA burns through the brain's serotonin so quickly that within hours, the come down begins. Emotion drains away, replaced by emptiness, sadness, and exhaustion. The high fades as suddenly as it came. With repeated use, it damages the neurons that release serotonin, making natural happiness harder to reach. Physically, it can overheat your body, cause dehydration, and in rare cases, organ failure. It's called the love drug because it creates a powerful sense of connection. But when it's over, you realize that connection was chemical, not real, and your brain is left paying the price. LSD, a hallucinogen, a powerful, mind-altering chemical that reshapes how your brain experiences reality. It's usually taken on tiny paper tabs placed on the tongue. The dose is incredibly small, measured in millionths of a gram. Once it enters your system, LSD attaches to serotonin receptor, especially one known as 5-HT2A, which plays a key role in perception and mood. That's when the onset begins. Patterns begin to move. Colors start shifting. Sounds feel almost visible. It's not like new hallucinations appear. It feels like reality itself starts to breathe and change. At the peak, which can last for hours, time begins to lose meaning. Your sense of identity, the voice that says, "This is me," starts to fade. You may feel connected to everything, to the universe itself. Euphoric, overwhelmed, or even afraid. Emotions become something you can feel physically. Music doesn't just play, it feels alive. The line between thoughts and sensations disappears, until everything blends into one continuous experience. Then comes the come down. Slow, gradual, like drifting back from space. Reality rebuilds itself, piece by piece. You may feel calm and reflective, or mentally drained. Some describe it as a reset. Others feel like they've been changed. LSD isn't physically addictive, but it's highly unpredictable. The same dose can feel beautiful, or turn into a nightmare, depending on your mindset and surroundings. It can also leave behind flashback or anxiety, long after the experience ends. LSD can open your mind, but it doesn't always close the door smoothly. Ketamine, a dissociative anesthetic, originally developed for surgery. Today, it's used medically in small doses to treat depression, but recreationally, it's taken for its out-of-body effects. It's usually snorted as a powder, or injected in liquid form. Once it enters your system, ketamine blocks a chemical messenger called glutamate, which helps your brain process sensory input and stay aware. The onset is fast. Within minutes, the world begins to feel distant, muffled, almost dreamlike. At the peak, perception disconnects completely. You may feel like you're floating above your body, or watching your life from a distance, what users call the K-hole. Time stops making sense. You might see yourself from the outside, or feel like you've left your body entirely. It isn't always pleasant. For some, it feels peaceful. For others, terrifying. As the come down begins, awareness slowly returns. Vision sharpens. Speech reconnects. But the world still feels foggy. For a short time, you may feel strangely calm, like your thoughts are moving underwater. Ketamine isn't traditionally addictive, but tolerance builds quickly. Heavy use can lead to memory problems, bladder damage, and emotional numbness. It can disconnect you from pain, but also from meaning. It's a drug that separates the body from the mind, and sometimes, they don't fully come back together. Opioids, painkillers that come from the opium poppy, or are created synthetically in laboratories. Medically, they're used as morphine or oxycodone. On the street, they appear as heroin or fentanyl. They can be swallowed, smoked, snorted, or injected. But all of them work in the same way. Once inside your body, they bind to opioid receptors in your brain and nervous system, blocking pain and releasing a wave of euphoria. The onset brings warmth, comfort, and relief. A deep, heavy calm that feels like safety. Pain fades, stress disappears. Your body starts to relax completely. It's not a fast or energetic high. It feels more like slowly sinking into the softest blanket imaginable. At the peak, everything slows down. Breathing becomes shallow. Your heartbeat slows. Thoughts begin to drift away. It feels like pure bliss, but it's dangerously close to losing consciousness. Many people chase that feeling, but each time, it becomes shorter, weaker, harder to reach. Then the come down begins, and it's intense. Anxiety, muscle pain, nausea, sweating, insomnia. Every nerve in your body craves the drug again. That's withdrawal. It doesn't just make you want it, it makes life feel unbearable. Without it, opioids are among the most addictive substances known. They rewire the brain's survival system, making the drug feel as essential as air. Over time, they damage organs, destroy tolerance, and break relationships. The warmth they give at the beginning is the same warmth they slowly take away from everything else in your life. Methamphetamine, a powerful stimulant, a chemical that floods your brain with dopamine and adrenaline, overloading everything at once. It's commonly taken by smoking, swallowing, snorting, or injection. And within seconds, it hits like a lightning strike. As the onset begins, energy surges through your body. Your heart races. Your mind sharpens. Every sense turns up to maximum intensity. You feel wide awake, unstoppable, invincible. Speech becomes rapid. Thoughts move faster than words. Sleep starts to feel unnecessary. At the peak, the rush becomes overwhelming. Confidence turns into euphoria. Motivation turns into obsession. You might clean endlessly, talk for hours, or chase a goal. That suddenly feels like destiny. It feels like control. But your brain is burning through its entire dopamine supply in a single surge. Then the come down hits, and it's brutal. Energy collapses. Your mind crashes into exhaustion, depression, and paranoia. The world feels dull, slow, empty. A chemical crash that can last for days. Meth is extremely addictive. Each high rewires your brain to crave that intense rush again, while destroying the system. That creates natural pleasure. Over time, it leads to severe weight loss, insomnia, hallucinations, and memory damage. Meth gives you energy, That feels limitless, until you realize it was borrowed from your future self. Psilocybin, better known as magic mushrooms, a hallucinogen found in certain types of fungi. It's usually eaten raw, brewed into tea, or taken in capsule form. Once inside the body, psilocybin is converted into psilocin, which interacts with serotonin receptors in the brain. The onset begins within about half an hour. Your senses sharpen, patterns begin to shimmer, reality starts to ripple, laughter comes easily, music feels alive. You become aware of everything at once. Your body, your breath, the space around you. At the peak, perception transforms completely. Colors pulse. Time stretches. You may feel a deep connection to nature, memory, or emotion. Some describe it as enlightenment, others as chaos. It can feel like your mind is dissolving into something bigger, beautiful, or overwhelming, depending on what you bring into it. As the come down begins, thoughts start to settle. The world slowly rebuilds itself. You might feel peaceful, grateful, or emotionally open. But for some, it leaves behind confusion or anxiety that lingers for days. Psilocybin isn't physically addictive, but it is powerful. It can help break old mental patterns, or, in the wrong setting, trigger panic or even psychosis. Mushrooms don't show you something new, they simply pull back the curtain on what's already inside your mind. Benzodiazepines, commonly known as benzos, sedative medications, used to treat anxiety, panic attacks, and insomnia. They're usually taken in pill form, and they work by increasing the effect of GABA, a brain chemical that slows down activity and produces calm. After taking one, the onset feels like relief. Your muscles relax. Your thoughts begin to quiet. The world feels less intense. Your heart rate slows. Your body eases. Stress fades away like mist. At the peak, everything feels soft, distant. Worry disappears. Time drifts. Sleep comes naturally. But as the come down begins, that calm starts to fade. Drowsiness turns into confusion. Memory becomes unreliable. Emotions feel flat. With repeated use, your brain starts to forget how to calm itself naturally. Benzos are highly addictive, especially when taken beyond prescription. Over time, tolerance builds quickly, so more is needed to achieve the same effect. Stopping suddenly can lead to anxiety, shaking, or even seizures. A withdrawal that can be dangerous. Without medical supervision, they quiet the mind, but that silence can become addictive. The real risk isn't the calm they provide, it's how easily they make you believe you can't function without them. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, because understanding what goes inside your mind might just change the way you see everything.